you can do in the way of Wordle solvers, please be prepared to present. And now we'll pass it back to Kevin. And Kevin, you sitting up in front with the mask off, you get great sound quality and great visual quality. That's working really
well. We're glad to hear it. The next thing we'd like to do is talk a bit with Klaus about the direction we'd like to head. We've really enjoyed his great talks, and also I've been grateful that he has filled the content, provide us with the content for these meetings. So I can't remember the name. Klaus, do you remember the name of the guy that was interested in making your boards available in the US?
Oh, yeah, yes, of course, I have his email, but I mean, since nobody wants one, this is a moot question.
Okay. So I guess we'll email with him downstream and try to understand if he's gotten anybody contacting him. But among those of you that are online now, if you want a board from Klaus, contact Klaus directly, and
just drop me an email. I mean, as I said, the first board I will send for free. If there are any more, then we have to think about a new solution. Actually, after last month's talk, I looked up the Lattice website for prototyping boards, and I actually found the board I'm using marked, developed by a German company and marketed through Lattice, and it is marked as out of stock. Well, that is no great wonder, because I have bought the remaining boards. So it used to be available through Lattice. Anyway, a few words what I have been doing lately. I got back to my division routines because I never really tested them fully. But since microcore is adjustable as far as the word width is concerned, and since I could cram everything that I needed for the division test into under 1024 instructions, I just made a 10-bit microcore version. And on a 10, so a dividend of 20 bits divided by 10 bits. And if I run the full suite, that means I do the division, then I multiply back and add the remainder, and the result should be the same. And if the result is not the same, then the overflow bit should be set. And with 10 bits, the test lasts for about 10 hours, which is manageable. And this way I already found two overflow bit bugs. So in the future, the math will be absolutely correct. And especially the high-level version for FM divide mod completely ignores the overflow situations, but it is not very difficult to add correct overflow to it, by the way. So that's where I am. Oh, I have even more exciting news, which you don't know yet. I have been a fierce opponent of bytes for the past 20 years. And I spend a lot of time of arguing against bytes until finally last year I started to implement IP UDP on a non-byte addressed machine. And I must say, you can actually implement this very, very efficiently. You don't need sprites for that. But everything that I want from the IP suites, I would have to recode myself. And I cannot utilize, like for instance, Stephen Peltz from MPE allowed me to use his TCP IP stuff, but I couldn't because I didn't have bytes. And so finally, I came to the conclusion, yes, I mean, bytes may not add anything to computational capabilities, but it is a fact of life, and there are large software packages that rely on byte addressability of the memory. And therefore, I added byte addressing to microcore, and now you have a choice. You either have byte addressing or you have no byte addressing. And of course, byte addressing only makes sense if the number of bytes in a cell is a power of 2. So there is meaningful byte addressing for 16-bit version of microcore and for a 32-bit version of microcore. And once I have a GForce that handles 64 bits, it would also make sense to use it for a 64-bit microcore version. So that's where it is at. For me, the big question is if anybody is interested in more talks about microcore, then I would find enthusiasm, at least from one person. I need some help, and we have to define a topic that I could speak about, because there are so many aspects what I could do. I need help there.
I absolutely love your talks. The deeper you go, the better. That's my vote anyway.
Now, yeah, but what I have done is I gave you the overview of the processor in terms of, well, a processor architecture point of view. I delved into the VHDL code twice, and I gave you an overview of the development environment and the cross-compiler. So then the question is, what's next?
Applications. Where do you use the
applications? Yes, you asked this question, I believe, after my first talk, and I have to come up with a list of applications. I started, well, but I don't have my notes here. I started to make a list, and I came up with 7 or 8 applications that I used it for.
That might be a good thing to use for your next talk, Klaus.
Yes, and another topic is application-specific instructions. I have a number of them.
That sounds great. How do you feel about moving on to the next presenter? Do you feel we've gotten enough out of this?
Well, I had a feeble idea of what I could, but unfortunately, it went away.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
Are you about ready to go?
Yeah.
Dimitri? Dimitri is the next presenter, and he's not responding. Maybe we've bored him. I'm sorry, Dimitri.
I'll send him a WhatsApp.
All right, that sounds plausible. Let's see, let's give, while that's happening, we're gonna do a quick review of the rest of the agenda. After Dimitri, Brad has micro E4 on the web, which sounds exciting. And then Philip Zembrod with his last minute ITC profiler talk. And Dave wanted to know, what is an ITC profiler? And I just wanted to cut and paste, because
Yeah, sorry.
Inattention by Hallmark.
I should have realized to send a description. Indirect threaded code.
Oh, we all know that. When you get into the TLAs, it all becomes ambiguous, though.
Yeah.
And then after that, Bob Armstrong will give us a very brief, he promises, overview of what's going on. Brad, you're going to be in a position to show your finished product Thing Memorial today.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, I think there's been some traffic asking for that, and it's on. I mean, it's up. I emailed it. Yeah, you can show it here. Well, let's see what time it is when we get there, and it was on the agenda. What was it? It's okay. I barely read it myself, and I.
Okay, I'm sorry, guys. I'm on. Wait.
Say again, Dimitri.
Sorry, I'm online. I just got a message. Or
Okay, are you ready for your to present your talk?
just one moment, and I can bring it up. Is there anyone who can go before me?
Oh, I have an additional remark. Hello?
Do you need 2 minutes or do you need?
I
20?
need less. I mean, another topic I can think of is what do you have to do to the code to bring it up on a new board?
There you go.
Okay, we're going to take a short break, talk among yourselves. And when Dimitri is ready to start, he can just launch in and introduce himself.
Since there's this break, let me Joe, I think that the problem with this not being reliable is actually has to do with the fact that I call the operating system allocate and restore. It'd be much more useful to actually use Ken or Arthur Whitney's inventory of slots version. But what should have happened, and it did the next time I ran it, but it is slow because I could go and sort out just where it's slow, but it should go and essentially add up all how many hits there are. That's a table of where the letters match and all of the Wordle things, and there are the indices of all those words. And this line, which executes nicely, fastly, there are all of the 4,000 or so words that contain the letters in the, I used the word event here, and that's just all the words that have matching and so forth. And if I did essentially an OR across that, then I'd have the words that are essentially, okay, contains the letter, but then I was playing around with that. But one of the things, I really didn't have the approach of, okay, here's some arbitrary word, let me go and drill down and figure out what word that is. But in any case, why that bombed before, I don't know. I have a feeling that it has something that again is with the allocate and restore. I don't know just why it decided to bomb, but like I say, the thing is that dealing with a list of 12,000, 13,000 words, Cozy's not optimized. that's where we go to a mature APL. Anyway, I just wanted to add that, and now return control and shut up.
Thank you, Bob. I think you'll enjoy my talk I'm presenting next, because I did take some inspiration from Cozy, at least in how I approach the problem I'm solving. So I'm ready to present when the meeting is ready for me to go. Can you hear me clearly,